Thanks for joining us on Nationwide today on NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omari. Now let's begin with the Boundary Commission. The board of the National Boundary Commission had a successful 10th meeting with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in attendance. The meeting, among other issues, discussed the need for proper advocacy, sensitization and seminars to educate the populace on the work of the Boundary Commission and the essence of boundaries as administrative limits of state as against the people's perception of traditional boundaries.
So we plan that we'll carry out a comprehensive ethnographic study along the boundary to identify all the communities along the boundary. We've also agreed that a monitoring team of security personnel will be constituted to ensure peaceful coexistence while we resume activities of trying to define the boundary.
Now to the Deep Offshore Amendment. Nigerians have continued to react to the signing of the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract Amendment Act 2019. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria described the act as a step in the right direction. Butwamila has details.
3 decades, the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract Law did not undergo any amendment as provided in the legislation. However, the present administration deemed it fit to push for the amendment in view of the benefits from it. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, while commenting on the Amendment Act, described the development as a new dawn for Nigeria.
What we are seeing is the advantage of collaboration and cooperation between the legislature and the executive. That's the result we are seeing.
The legislature expeditiously got it done. I think it's for the younger generation because a new set of money is made available.
Guests believe the strengthening of Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative and effective operationalization of cabotage and local content will help develop the oil-gas sector for optimum results.
We expect more, even from the angle of the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. We really expect more. If not for the report and the audit they've been embarking upon from time to time, some of these issues will not have seen the light of day.
In native, we will be much encouraged if this bill comes out in form of executive bill.
Yes.
Because if it comes from the executive will now work with all the key agencies in the industry.
The guests call for prompt passage of Petroleum Industry Bill and proper monitoring of funds to be realized from proceeds of the amended act. In Abuja, Butwamila, NTA News.
Let's talk security. Northeast governors have met to deliberate on ways to tackle the challenges of insecurity in the geopolitical zones. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, urged citizens to support the armed forces and be vigilant enough to report suspicious moves in their communities so as to put an end to security challenges.
This event is convened within the context of our community policing initiative and as part of the strategies of the Nigeria Police to employ an all-inclusive approach towards aiding us in the achievement of our internal security mandate.
The process requires a holistic approach that promotes peace, stability and social cohesion by addressing the rehabilitation of infrastructure and services and addresses underlying macroeconomic issues to overcome the nexus of instability, conflict, and deteriorating development.
One Day Security Summit is aimed at preferring solutions to security challenges. Not to the environment, more flooding is expected downstream of Kogi, Edo, Delta, Anambra, Rivers and Bayelsa states. To this effect, the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency is advising governments of the affected states to put communities on the bank of the River Niger on red alert and commence efforts to mitigate the impact of the flooding. Oninge Fineface reports.
Information released by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NERSA, indicates that the flood level as at 4th November 2019 in River Benue is 11.28 meters, which is much higher than that of 2012, which was 9.01 meters. The flood level downstream the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue is also higher in 2019 at 10.97 meters than it was in 2012 at 8.04 meters. Latest prediction released by NERSA shows that Nigeria's position downstream of 8 other countries on the Niger Basin release of excess water from dams, especially the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, and continued rainfall beyond the expected dates of cessation are factors responsible for the current flood incidents in several parts of the country.
The excess water released from Lagdo Dam that has arrived part of Nigeria will be moving down to the states, communities, downstream Lokoja as a town. In other words, Edo State, especially again the border axis, Anambra State, passing through Onitsha, Idemili is there, Delta State, Rivers, and then Bayelsa. The flood that occurred in Adamawa State will eventually get to them.
NESA is also advising residents and governments in the state and local governments to commence immediate desilting of drains and clearance of water channels to allow for free flow of flood water into the Atlantic. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
When I move to farming, stakeholders in the agriculture sector are brainstorming in Asaba Delta State on how to maximize the agricultural insurance policies to boost production and food security in Nigeria. The convener of the workshop, Nigerian Agriculture Insurance Corporation, is therefore sensitizing farmers from the South on risk reduction and management in farming. Austin Edemodu has details.
2012, when the big flood came, I did only 5 million insurance with Naik. And by the grace of God, when the flood took over the whole of my farm, I lost so much. Naik was able to pay me 2.8 million. And that gave me a start.
That was the testimony of one of the farmers that have benefited from the agricultural insurance scheme. With a growing population of over 200 million people, Nigeria needs a viable and a vibrant agricultural sector to sustain food production and food security. The Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation has therefore come to restore the confidence of farmers and keep them in sound financial footing, says its managing director, Folashade Joseph.
We must ensure agriculture across the value chain. We are backbone. We cannot predict nature. Anything can happen. And if that does happen, that is why Nigerian agricultural insurance is there, to pay claims to the farmers. It's very important to plow back the farmers to prosperity.
The best thing is to seek to secure our investment. And if we need to secure our investment, the chances of total loss will be eradicated.
To reinforce this strategy, the corporation has once again organized this Train the Trainer seminar for some selected farmers in the South on proper documentation, claim settlements, and insurance policy in agricultural value chain.
The premium is subsidized. The premium they're supposed to pay, they will pay 50%. While the federal government and the state government, where the project is located, will pay the balance 50% at a ratio of 75 to 25.
When I go back home to Edo, there is need to call our various cooperatives and our clusters and make them to be aware of such a benefit. In fact, it's like it shall be hidden. We never knew that we have such an opportunity.
The commissioners for agriculture and natural resources from Delta, Edo, and Bayelsa states were represented at an event which will last for 3 days. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Let's link up with Dotun Ogunyemi in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Hello, Lizzie, and welcome to Lagos. A strategic alliance between Lagos and Ogun State has been identified as the way out of tackling the challenges of border disputes, rehabilitation of infrastructure, security and land management within the Lagos-Ogun State corridor. The state governors are optimistic that the alliance will help create an enabling environment that would foster economic growth. Nenrot Nina Musa reports that this was disclosed at the monthly breakfast meeting organized by the Nigeria South African Chamber of Commerce in Lagos.
The challenges of overpopulation and its resultant effect on accommodation is one among several challenges associated with megacities like Lagos, hence the search for succor in neighboring towns and cities. The scenario typically describes the experience between Lagos and Ogun states as the migration of citizens either for accommodation reasons or economic gains to and fro both locations has had its own fair share of benefits and challenges. It is in the light of this that the governments of Lagos and Ogun are setting up a commission to tackle issues dwelling on joint opportunities, common threats, and design strategies at the monthly breakfast meeting of the Nigerian South African Chamber of Commerce.
You know, we can really look at who has advantage over where, right? And we can sort of like agree amongst ourselves that in areas where we have comparative advantage, there's no need to split heads, let's push. In areas where you can do a few things for us, let's push. And we've started.
The idea is to take people out of Lagos, take cargo out of Lagos, take the transportation, as much transportation as possible out of Lagos, so that Lagos indeed can achieve that fullest potential, while Ogun also that has all the land, that has all the people, can, feed Lagos, feed the country.
They both agreed that the closure of the Nigerian borders by the federal government has promoted inter-trade activities within the country. In Lagos, Narot Nina Musa, NTA News.
And talking economic growth now, addressing Nigeria's infrastructure demands with a view to enhancing economic growth and development requires an alternative source of funding. This was the crux of discourse at the African International Conference on Islamic Banking in Lagos. Abolade Salami reports.
Infrastructure financing, sustainability, and the future of African markets. Industry players in the financial markets are comparing notes and ideas on what the country stands to benefit from Islamic finance. Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, said the issuance of Sukuk bond has helped finance some road projects in the country, adding that the usage of Islamic finance will help develop a robust ecosystem for effectiveness.
Now, what has this given us in terms of experience, in terms of addressing the concerns that we have as Nigerians? First of all, it makes sure we're not borrowing for 7, 10, 15 years and consuming today. It goes into long-term capital projects.
The significant growth in infrastructure development, Islamic finance, through Sukuk, to non-Islamic countries such as United Kingdom, South Africa, and Germany, financial experts believe can be replicated in Nigeria.
And the federal government is very keen to ensure that we explore all the options. You can see that we even introduce road infrastructure tax credit, to some investors who are willing to build some of our roads.
So you see that there's regulation for Nigeria, there's everything for Nigeria. Every day people want to be involved in it, they want to expand and see what it is, what is at par with the world.
Panelists submitted that more financial institutions need to push for more defined regulations on Islamic finance and create a platform for public-private partnership leveraging on Islamic finance. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
A fire outbreak is currently on in Balogun Market in Lagos, and relevant agencies are currently trying to put the fire under control. We will bring you that report in the course of this bulletin, but now we go on a short break. Do stay with us.
The multitude of friends, party men and women who gathered to witness the flag-off of the gubernatorial campaign of Governor Yahaya Bello, the brand new Ogaonu Guata of Ata Igala, and his amiable deputy governor, Chief Edward Onoja, provides a resounding proof. A gathering that has this caliber of people in attendance is indeed a testimony of a man who is well in touch with the appropriate political classes that will further connect Kogi State to the sources of development and prosperity. Today, investors are indicating interest to do business in Kogi State. Kogi is firmly connected to the center that works. The Ajokuta Steel Company is about to witness a dramatic turnaround that will revive the pride and worth of the state. Let's join hands to put Kogi on the national map of development. Vote Yahaya Bello and his deputy, Chief Edward Onoja, a rational choice.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites select directorate and senior level officers of the ministries, departments and agencies to the first phase of a 3-day intensive training program on cabinet documentation and processing for enhanced service delivery. Theme: capacity building on policy management processes and cabinet documentation for enhanced service delivery. Training objective: to strengthen the skills of directorate and senior level officers of the ministries, departments and agencies in the area of policy management, including preparing and processing of council documents. The training is scheduled to hold as follows. Date: November 9, 2019. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Venue: Center for Management Development, CMD, Shangisha, Lagos State. All participants are expected to arrive on Friday, November 8, 2019 for induction ceremony at 3 p.m. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Announcer: Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Impact of Niger Delta Development Commission on the citizens and region is the focus this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and informative. Join us at 10:30 p.m.
Get ready for your miracles,
healings,
blessings,
victories,
salvation,
and testimonies
happening live at the 18th Abuja Special Holy Ghost Service. Themed: Peace Be Still.
Date 7 to 8 November 2019. Thursday is a praise night and Friday is the Holy Ghost service, 4 p.m. daily.
Venue: Redemption Campground, Kilometer 23, Abuja Kefi Expressway, Nasarawa State. Ministering: Pastor E.A. Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God and other anointed ministers of God.
Music by Femi Okunuga,
Pastor Kunle Ajayi,
Perfected Praise Singers,
the Northern Region Family Choir, and others. Come and encounter Jesus, the Prince of Peace. See you there.
The Lord can come. Helpline Foundation Nigeria and partners present the 3rd Annual Africa Women Conference, AWC 2019, a gathering of experts, institutions, corporate organizations, and individuals promoting the growth, stability, and development of African women, through which various resources available to African women can be channeled towards the sustainable development of the continent.
Keynote speakers: Imbal Talin, Ramato Tijani Aliu, Madam Magdala Cooper, Binta Masigarba, Karima Ranim, Ibtisame Azal, Dr. Anissa Nagra, veteran Nollywood actors and actresses.
Theme: Building a Coalition to End Gender Inequality in Africa. Date: 21st to 23rd November 2019. Venue: Kenzi Manara Palace, Marrakesh, Morocco. For participation and inquiries, visit www.africa-womenconference.org or call +234 806 5388 424. AWC: Building an Africa where every woman's potential is fully harnessed. Powered by Helpline Foundation Nigeria, Echoes Africa Initiatives New York, International Center for Diplomacy, Morocco.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to appointments. President Muhammad Buhari has approved the appointment of Dr. Sarah Omotunde Alade as Special Advisor to the President on Finance and the Economy, domiciled in the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, Dr. Alade, who holds PhD in Economics and PhD in Management Science Operations Research, retired from the Central Bank of Nigeria as Deputy Governor in 2017 after spending 23 years in the Apex Bank. She had also acted briefly in 2014 as a CBN Governor. Still on appointment and confirmation, the Senate has confirmed 15 out of the 16 nominees as members of the Governing Board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The Senate Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, while presenting its report on the screening of the nominees, explained that one of them, Joy Nunye, representing Rivers State, did not appear for the screening. The Senate also confirmed Justice John Soho and Benedict Kanyip as Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and President of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria. 11 bills were passed for first reading, including the Finance Bill 2019. Let's not be much searchlight on security. Over 200 inmates of an illegal rehabilitation center at Olore Central Mosque in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, have regained freedom. Coyote Olados reports that the illegal center was discovered following a tip-off.
Illegal rehabilitation centers may be a national phenomenon as the police busted another one in Ibadan. The State Commissioner of Police, Shina Olukolu, who led his men to the scene of the illegal center, rescued 34 females, 191 males, 11 children, and 23 sick ones that were allegedly detained and chained for the past 2 to 10 years.
Young men, young women are being kept in captivity in a dungeon-like situation. As a matter of fact, man's inhumanity to man is being manifested in this environment.
It's a very pathetic issue, but we are going to take care of the situation.
The victims living in inhuman conditions look malnourished and unkept as they narrate what they have passed through.
I used 1.5 years in there, and with that 1.5 years is being held.
I don't drink water. I don't drink good water. Bath. I don't bath regularly.
The state government has told the police that they are ready to take care of these people and ensure that they are properly kept, properly treated, well fed, and treated as human beings.
5 persons suspected to be connected with the center were arrested while police have secured the facility in Ibadan. Kadola Dushu, NTA News.
Still on security, the increase in circulation of small and light weapons in most developing countries is gradually diffusing the traditional monopoly of control of these arms by governments in African countries. To curb this ugly trend, the Economic Committee of West African States, ECOWAS, in collaboration with the National Defense College, Abuja, are conducting a regional pilot training course on weapon management in peace support operations. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Political instability and insurgency in some African countries have for some time continued to pave way for the proliferation of small and light weapons in the region. This has killed, displaced thousands of people and truncated socio-economic activities in parts of the affected countries.
I know that this course is a 3-day training program which is focused at promoting and building a collaborative agenda with the United Nations, regional organizations like the ECOWAS, to reduce the diversion of arms and ammunition from peace support missions.
Though arms diversion is a global challenge, available data show that out of the 640 million in circulation, it is estimated that 100 million are found in Africa.
We've been working with the Economic Community of West African States for many years now to take advantage of their Small Arms Convention and work on creating effective checks and balances to help reduce the incidence of loss of arms and ammunition in peace operations.
6 African countries are participating in the 3-day course. From the National Defense College, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And we're not done with security yet. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has apprehended a truck driver conveying 33,000 litres of automotive gas oil suspected to be adulterated. The Cross River State Commandant of the Corps, Danjuma Elisha, says forensic analysis is going on to ascertain the authenticity of the product. Justina Aitem reports.
The suspect was arrested on the 29th of October 2019 at Technical Roundabout, Calabar, without valid papers for operation of such business. He assured to rid the state of all illegal oil activities and sued for maximum cooperation from the public to nip the menace in the bud.
I feel I should not allow things like this to happen. And if it has been happening somewhere, somehow, I think we should have to stop.
The suspect, however, claimed that he is not aware that the product is adulterated, as it was purchased from black marketers. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
And our next port of call is Benin, where Ogochukwuka is standing by. Hello, Ogochukwuka.
Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome. Governor Godwin Obaseki has expressed worry over the continuous thefts of crude oil in the Niger Delta, despite the presence of the military in the region. He was speaking while receiving a delegation of the National Executive Committee of Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, at the Government House. Goodluck Enaini has details.
Records indicate that about 22 million barrels of crude oil put at estimated cost of $1.35 billion could not be accounted for in the first half of 2019. Governor Obaseki wondered how this could be possible in spite of the security put in place to checkmate the activities of oil theft in the Niger Delta region.
And the other side of it is the total environmental degradation. All sorts of illegal refineries cropping up, and the danger to the ecosystem in our region is just unthinkable. And as responsible officers, as people who have been voted for by the citizens of the region, we're not going to sit down and fold our arms and allow this.
He wants leaders in the area to make accountability their guiding principle, noting that the region has the quality of leaders to achieve development in the area. Earlier, chairman of the delegation, retired Air Commodore Idonsit Ikanga, and his Edo State counterpart, former IGP Dr. Solomon Arase, told Governor Obaseki that the body has presented a memo to President Muhammadu Buhari in that regard and urged politicians in the country to close ranks for the good of Nigerians. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NT News.
And now to religious matters. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, says prayer for peace in Nigeria is needed now more than ever. This formed the theme of its plenary session for 2019, holding in Benin. Adubejo Jegba reports.
We must continue at all matters to lift up our dear state, Edo State, and the government to God in praise.
He cannot do it by himself. Lord, we ask that your grace be sufficient in his life.
When we gather like this, the bond of unity, our bond of unity as Christians, is strengthened.
The guest preacher, Very Reverend Father Alfred Agbonlaho, identified rancor, betrayal, evil, hatred, untimely deaths, bloodshed, and underdevelopment as 7 things that happened when a land is deficient of peace.
When you have peace, you will build. When you have peace, you will develop. When you have peace, the land will improve.
The key tenets of Christianity is what we grow, which is sacrifice.
The theme of the plenary session is prayer for peace in Nigeria now more than ever. In Benin, Adebeji Ojegba, NTA News.
A road walk tagged Walk for Life has been held to mark the 10th year anniversary of the 14-year-old Vivian Ogu, who was killed in 2009 for resisting sexual assaults. Adebejo Jegba reports that late Vivian was the president of the Holy Child Society of St. Paul's Catholic Church, Benin City.
Leading the Walk for Life that started from the premises of the church are some of the young minds and youths that the late Vivian Ogu's life of holiness, purity, and virginity inspired. The road walk took the parishioners of St. Paul through roads, with the people sensitizing the public to the kick against immorality, sexual violence, and murder which the late Vivian Ogu stood against.
Landlords, tenants, help me look picking up, help me sleep with them. Don't look after them sexually. No molest them. No put hand for him body.
Even in death, she believed in the virtue of purity. So for those of us who are left behind in the world, we're able to see that virginity is a possibility and purity is a reality.
Just as we are moving around today, promoting her cause, so that others will learn, especially the youths.
She stood for the truth, and she preferred to be killed rather than to be raped.
The 10th memorial anniversary of the late Vivian Ogu, with a theme, Be Perfect Even as Your Heavenly Father is Perfect, will climax on the 16th of this month at the Vivian Ogu ground in Benin. Adebeji Ojegba, NTA News.
Elizabeth, it's back to you. We are done from here.
Thank you so much, Ogochukwu. Still talking health, over 3,000 patients are to benefit from free medical outreach in the 3 senatorial districts of Akwa Ibom State. The move, which is at the instance of 2 non-governmental organizations, was flagged off by the wife of the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Martha Udom Emmanuel, in Edenan General Hospital. In Sikak Okon reports.
Basically, various ailments affect people in any society, either rendering them incapacitated, deformed, or result to death. To check this ugly development is why this non-governmental organization, Love Without Borders Foundation, in partnership with Akwa Ibom Association of Nigeria in USA, decided to undertake these free medical treatments. The medical outreach holding in Ikono and Esreke local government areas is programmed to handle free surgery, drug dispensary, free eye care and other healthcare services. Wife of the state governor, Martha Udom Emmanuel, encouraged people to turn out en masse for the free medical outreach, while advising them to always check their medical status frequently.
I want to thank the group from America, the Love Without Borders medical team, for deeming it fit to come to their state again. They do this every year.
The flag off of the free medical outreach attracted goodwill messages from stakeholders. In Uyo, Nsika Okon, NTA News.
Into issues of concern, aging is a transitory period of maturation that everybody must go through. Some age with a fear of the unknown, while some devise several means to help themselves since they see no plan for care and support services. To change the narrative and to take away the fear of aging is the reason for the second National Conference on Aging put together by the Coalition of Societies of Rights of Older Persons in Niger. Basi Taikpan reports.
Joseph is a senior citizen who, during his active age, served the country. Joseph, like many others, came from various states with excitement, formally registered to be part of the program that is intended to give the elderly a better life. They told me that the conference is an opportunity for them to meet and discuss with old friends. Their aim is to awaken the consciousness of Nigerians towards promoting their well-being, welfare, and dignity.
So what we're saying is, 1, let there be a legal framework defining the rights and privileges that accrue to an older person.
The rights and privileges of the older persons have to do with what are the government plans for the older persons in terms of health, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of healthy living.
Several issues bordering on the elderly persons in the country were brought to the fore.
That thousands of the older persons die every year from chronic diseases that can be prevented or controlled to achieve healthy and productive lives. This is not acceptable.
The second National Conference on Aging focused on taking the rights and privileges of the older persons in Nigeria to the next level. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
And Dibabari Sedoma in Port Harcourt has some reports for us from that region. Hello, Dibabari.
Elizabeth, good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has tasked the Opobo Council of Chiefs to continually work in harmony for peaceful coexistence in their domains. The governor was speaking during a solidarity visit by the Ayanabo of Opobo, King Dandasin Jaja, and his Council of Chiefs at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogeniyipu reports that the governor also hosted Rotary International District 9141.
The visit by the Amayanabo of Opobo and his Council of Chiefs is to pledge unalloyed loyalty to Governor Wike's administration.
Your 100 days in this second dispensation was backed with massive commissioning of completed projects in the state. The commissioned projects, we note, were such that touched the lives of citizens of the state.
Governor Wike appreciated the Amayanabo and his council for supporting his administration. He dissuaded the chiefs from partisan politics and tasked them to do more.
We need to talk to our youths, whether they are living in Opopo or whether they are living in Port Harcourt or wherever. I don't know how our children will be happy that they are not taking life.
Also, the governor played host to Governor of Rotary International District 9141, where he noted that kidnapping has become commercialized.
Everybody must partner with government to see how best we can to fight this menace. It's not the best for us.
As part of efforts to contribute to the already existing voluntary donor programs of the state, the club desires to partner with her to establish the River State Blood Center in Port Harcourt.
In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
NDDC Acting Managing Director Dr. Joy Nguyen says she did not show up for the NDDC board screening by the Senate because of her present appointment as the Acting Managing Director of the Commission. Dr. Nguyen stated this at a media briefing at the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt. Emmanuel Lene tells us more.
Speaking on why she didn't show up for the NDDC board screening by the Senate Committee on NDDC Acting Managing Director and member representing Rivers State on the board, Dr. Joy Nguyen said she declined the board appointment because of her present appointment as Acting Managing Director of the Commission.
I'm on that list as the representative for Rivers State. Looked like a curse for you to be an acting MD and you go for a screening as a state rep. That's why I'm not going. And besides, that list has been suspended by the President's approval of my appointment.
While urging contractors to the Commission to go back to site, the NDDC Acting Managing Director said contract for collection agents from international oil companies to the Commission has been suspended. She also re-emphasized that rural communities in all states in the Niger Delta will soon enjoy potable drinking water and free health care from the Commission. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
Stakeholders in the governorship election holding in Bayelsa State next week say they are set for the polls, though 45 parties are also set. Gabriel Amunike has an update on preparation for the election.
On Saturday, November 16, 2019, voters in Bayelsa State are expected to come out to exercise their franchise, which the end result is expected to usher in a new occupant of Creek Heaven, the seat of government. NEC-REC, Bayelsa State. Pastor Udatom says the organization is ready for next week's election. Sensitive election materials have been delivered to the appropriate quarters and at hostel and others.
We are prepared. We have done all we need to do. All our sensitive materials have been received, badged to BU level by our egos for some time now. They are ready to go.
Bayelsa State Police says the command is making adequate arrangements to checkmate irregularities during the elections. Security personnel are to be deployed adequately to all local government areas and wards.
We are going to deploy adequate personnel to cover the entire state.
We apologize for that hitch. Now let's take you to Sokoto, where the appeal court has upheld the judgment of Election Petition Tribunal in a petition filed by Mohammed Mashido of PDP, challenging the election of Aliu Wamako as senator-elect for Sokoto North Senatorial District. Shehu Mohammed Dati reports.
Dissatisfied with the judgment of the tribunal delivered on the 6th of September 2019, the appellant sought the appeal court to review the case. After reviewing, the appeal court said the tribunal was right to dismiss the case because it was filed out of time. In a case filed by Kabiru Marapa Achida of the PDP against Ibrahim Al-Musafa Aliyu of APC, representing Raba Wurunda Federal Constituency, the appeal struck out the case for lack of jurisdiction, saying the appeal has lapsed since the 2nd of November 2019. Similarly, The case filed by Aminu Shehu Shagari of the PDP against Umar Abubakar Yabo as member representing Yabo Shagari Federal Constituency was also struck out for lack of jurisdiction. The case filed by Ibrahim Arzika Sarki of the PDP challenging judgment of the election tribunal for the rerun election in some fallen units of Sokoto North 2 State Assembly constituency was reserved for judgment. Other judgments include that of Muhammad Saidu Labunkari of APC challenging the election of Mani Mashunku Katami, dismissed by the judges. All the judgments were delivered by 3 judges under the leadership of Justice Ibrahim Musa Solawa.
In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
More than 200 shops and other buildings have been gutted by fire along Martins Oluwole and Dusuma axis of Lagos Island markets. Amakawa reports that as at the time of filing this report, firefighters and other emergency agencies are still battling with the fire.
It's double tragedy for traders on Lagos Island as this massive shopping plaza is on fire. It was a pathetic scene to behold. From what NTA News gathered, the fire started in one of the stores, just like a child play. When bystanders called the attention of the shop owner to the fire, he sounded nonchalant and doused the fear that it will be controlled until it got out of hand. This, perhaps, could have been why other traders became almost violent as they count their losses. Men of the Lagos State Fire Service and other emergency joint team are struggling to prevent further spread.
Right now, they are here and they are doing their best to see what they can do to quench the fire. But I want to also appeal that our fire service should be responding on time.
We will conduct preliminary investigations on it and we will get to the root of the matter. But my own action right now is to ensure safety of life and properties in this environment.
Confusion everywhere as the traders resorted to self-help. The only hope for these traders and other building owners on the axis is that the ongoing effort to quell the inferno will be successful to prevent the popular market from becoming a total ruin. In Lagos, Amaka O, NT News.
It's indeed a sad day for the traders. Now let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Do you desire to upscale your skills in the area of archival management? Then you must attend NTA-TV College special 2-week intensive course on archival management in the broadcast media. Date 11th to 22nd November 2019. Course fee 80,000 Naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. Venue NTA-TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. This course is designed for archivists, librarians, and information managers in the private and public sector. Take advantage of the course to upgrade your capacity in digital storage of audio visuals, electronic cataloging, and classification of archival materials, record management, archival security, and much more. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service,
impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multipurpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
You are about to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. This contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
Glad to know you're still there. And if you just joined us, this is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Time now to join Zenred in our Just studio for more reports. It's good to see you, Zenred.
And welcome to Jos. Sabongida Bakin Kogi Bridge along Kwampan Lafia Federal Road has been washed away. As a result, residents are calling on the federal and state government to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid by reconstructing the washed-out bridge. They made the call when member representing Shandam, Mikang Kwampan Federal Constituency went on an assessment visit to the area. Comfort Biangten reports.
The Sabongida Bakin Kogi Bridge, which links Plateau, Nasarawa and Taraba states, was washed away as a result of heavy downpour experienced recently in the area. This has become worrisome for residents of the community who daily ply the road for various economic activities. They also expressed fear for the safety of their lives if the bridge completely collapses. Also affected are large portions of farmlands submerged by the flood, with crops worth millions of naira being lost, threatening the food security and sufficiency drive of government.
If this bridge should collapse, we will be in trouble. Government should assist us.
We are appealing to them as a matter of urgency to come to our aid.
Critical stakeholders, amongst them, member representing Shandam, Mikang Kwampan Federal Constituency, Alphonsus Longap, visited the site to assess the level of damage.
Thank God I have the professionals here, and they're going to look at it. They provide solution for palliative measures and maybe for permanent measures in the near future.
We'll drop some boulders to stabilize the base, try and fill the road embankment back to the level so that at least it will keep the road safe.
I've taken measurement of the failures. I'm going to prepare a proposal right away so people can just mind the warning sign and make sure they follow the right path.
They are optimistic that when fixed, the road will further boost economic activities between the three states. From Kwampan, Comfort Biangten, NTA News.
The Court of Appeal Just Division has upheld the election of Yusuf Adamu Gagdi as a member representing Pangshin Kanam Kanki Federal Constituency in the 2019 general elections. Ashiz Gopep was at the Court of Appeal Jos and now reports.
Presiding Judge Justice Ukechukwu Onyemenam said the election was in compliance with the Electoral Act, hence the decision of the court to strike out the appeal. The court held that Timothy Gulu has been challenging the election, saying it was marred by corrupt practices and non-compliance to the Electoral Act as amended. Justice Onyemenam, however, held that the appeal lacked merit and upheld the election of Yusuf Gagdi as duly elected member representing Pangshin, Kanke, Kanam Federal Constituency. In the meantime, November 22nd has been scheduled for hearing in the appeal and cross-appeal of Senator Jeremiah Useni against Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In Jos, Ashes Gupet, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. More stories with Elizabeth after this break.
Sinred will continue from here without a break. The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to improve the state of some foreign missions as an image of Nigeria abroad. The lawmakers also appealed for more funding to the missions to enable them function effectively, especially with regards to issuance of visa and passports. The motion, discussed as a matter of public importance, as moved by Representative Yusuf Buba, noted some uncomplimentary reports on social media platforms on the poor state and services at some of the missions and urged the federal government to do something about such issues. The lawmakers also called for the immortalization of Dr. Stella Adadevo, a Nigerian physician who in 2014 risked her life to prevent the spread of Ebola virus in the country. Harnessing the opportunities available to Nigeria in diaspora remittances for sustainable development is the focus of the Europe-Africa Dialogue on Migration. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, is advancing deeper exploration of the opportunities to grow the nation's economy through foreign direct investments, as well as resolve existing cross-national migration constraints. Oninge Fineface reports.
Euro-African Dialogue on Migration and Development, Rabat Process, is an intergovernmental platform that paves way for comprehensive partnerships on migration and mobility between Africa and Europe. The workshop on diaspora remittances and sustainable development brings together partners from different countries with the aim of identifying opportunities available in the contribution of foreign nationals to the economy of their respective nations. As host, Nigeria is leveraging on the dialogue to further increase financial inflows from Nigerians abroad.
We believe that the Rabat Process has provided a platform through which honest discussions can be held on migration and development, and that strong foundations can be created for future engagements and capacity building initiatives.
I know that there are a lot of innovative ideas out there. I think we need to be thinking out of the box in order to find solutions to a very significant challenge around irregular migration in the world.
To find useful tools, instruments that will help remittances to contribute to sustainable development should not be divisive.
Supported largely by Belgium and the French Republic, the workshop seeks to aggregate expert capacity on how member nations can encourage better migration practices with focus on legal issues affecting migration, smuggling, human trafficking, return, readmission and reintegration of migrants, as well as available economic opportunities.
We need to look into how even the informal remittance can become formal. We need to look at the challenges facing the remittances, the high levies, high taxes they have to pay on remittances, and then the informal ones, how can they be captured?
Discussions at the workshop are expected to create better awareness on how effective migration practices and policies will produce positive economic outcomes for Rabat Process member nations. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
And from Foreign Affairs, we now move to